Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are now listening to the Apocalyptic Aftermath channel with your unholy and unhumble host of the most, the Apocalyptic Aftermath himself. So, sorry about that. So yesterday I made this amazing video. What's the name of the video again? What's the name of that video? Give me a second. Yesterday's video was immaculate. We had an offer to Mirror. An offer to Mirror. We're talking about sacrificing the eye. Sacrificing the eye. I didn't mean that I am not attributing the all-seeing eye to anyone. I'm not attributing the all-seeing eye to anyone or anybody in particular. All I'm saying is it's a recurring pattern in Gnosticism. It's a recurring pattern in Gnosticism. Everybody has a one eye story. You know, there's a one eye story in every religion. So the eye is important, and in Western philosophy, though, in Western philosophy, the one eye is seen as a positive thing, whereas in outside philosophy, there is a sacrifice being done of one eye. So there's like a contrast between the two. There's one that sacrifices the eye, and there's ones that actually incorporate the eye, right? And I think it's a clue. I think it's a clue on how to proceed in your decision making. Do you accept the eye, or do you sacrifice the eye? You know, the eye of knowledge. You know, and for all you guys, the video, the an offer to Mirror video is, I feel like, is more relatable towards people that are currently dealing with this spiritual awakening, dealing with this with these people that are basically stealing your identity, making life hard for you, harassing you, basically. So basically what I'm saying in that video is that you could, if it's not an easy spell. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's an easy spell. It would take some time. You would have to but I don't know. I know that I have helped people on this channel. Some people actually say that some of the things that they've heard here has helped them in their everyday life. I don't know how much they remember about the things that I say, because I say a lot of things. And I do give out power. I do give out, not in the sense that I give out a bunch of rituals that you could do, but I do give tips. I do give tips and whatnot. And what I'm referring to is, I talk about, sometimes I do talk about how to incorporate something. Like let's say the process of the eye sacrifice would be the same kind of process as it would be a dangerous spell to do. It's a dangerous ritual to do, because just like when I say you can bottle a spirit inside of your TV screen, you know, you would have to do the same with the Illuminati. So you would have to literally let in the Illuminati. You would literally would have to let in the Illuminati. And why would you let in the Illuminati? Not join the Illuminati. So therefore you what I mean by letting in the Illuminati is like, wait a minute, because my camera is to the left and I don't know why. Give me a second here. Okay, that's a bit better. Anyway, so you would have to let them in. What I mean by let them in is not joining the Illuminati. What I mean by let them in is accepting their existence, you know, because everything is about essence, you know. And if you want to be a powerful magician like me, like if you want to be a powerful magician, you have to collect essence, right? So because when a person comes into your life, this person has an essence, right? Anyone or anything that comes into your life has an essence. Like your car has an essence. Your house has an essence. Your people have essences, right? So institutions have essence. Everything has an essence. Everything has an astral realm version of itself, right? Just like you have an astral version, an astral form version of yourself, so do things, people, and your environment, right? So when I say letting in the Illuminati, you would have to accept their existence, right? You will have to accept their existence. You will have to accept that they are who people say they are. You will have to accept that they are who they say they are, right? So this is their essence. This is what an essence is. It's what you are, right? So with that essence, and when you accept who a person is, this leaves an essence, and this essence is now connected to you. So this is the first part of conducting a sacrifice ritual of the all-seeing eye, the eye of God. So you would have to let that essence into your life, right? Which is dangerous. It's dangerous. But for people that are kind of like in my situation, for people that are already being attacked, already being, ostracized and rejected and isolated by these people because they don't want you to be successful, because they already know you're a successful person and they just don't want you to be successful, and you will be successful regardless, whatever they do. They're just delaying the inevitable because you're Thanos and you have a fucking infinity gauntlet that can control time space continuum with a snap of your finger. Yes, sir, Bob. For those people, it's easier to do that ritual because the essence is already there. It's already connected. I've talked about this many times. This is not something that I'm pulling out of my ass here. We've talked about doors, because the Illuminati likes to use magic, or their kind of magic. They like to use mysticism to deal with people, right? They're all about mysticism, more or less, even though they can't access the gods, specific, the important gods, essences. They can use spirits and whatnot, which they do because they use voodoo. Like Illuminati uses voodoo a lot. The combo that the Illuminati uses is Egyptian voodoo and their brand of Baphomet Satanism, right? For lack of better terms, right? This is their combo. The combo of a real magician that actually can practice magic and that is on the path of practicing magic will use well, if he's Luciferian, if he does actually believe in the actual real devil, who's actually God, he will use demonology, Satanism, or Luciferianism as a base, and then he will have incorporated Hinduism also, and also last but not least, this is not in chronological order, not to disrespect anybody. There's nobody lower or higher than the other one. I don't believe that Odin is a lower entity than the Hindu entity. Shout out to Shiva though, the god of death, who is also God at the same time. Odin, that is also that is a god and also Lucifer at the same time. And at some point, like, I think it's Jafar that said it, but I think somebody said it. I think it's Jafar, but I heard it somewhere. I'm not sure if it's Jafar, but somebody said that demons were all Hindu at some point, and I agree with that. 1000%, I agree with it. So anyways, they will use Viking mythology, Hinduism, and Luciferianism. Other magicians, white magicians, so the ones that practice white magic, they will use Greek mythology, Roman astrology, and Jesus. Sorry, Jesus. I'm just, but that's basically, they will call God, they will use God, but they will call him spirit and or some shit like that, or they'll just call him God, but they'll usually use Wicca, like people that practice Wicca, people that, white magic, whatever that is. They will be more prone to use astrology, Roman mythology, and Greek mythology. That's for the white magic users. The black magic users is Luciferianism, Viking, and Hinduism. And Illuminati is Egyptian voodoo, and their own kind of Satanism. And they do believe in God. All that shit is mostly a smokescreen. It's just to throw people off. They're Christians. Well, they're Catholics, not Christians. They're Catholics. They believe in the Vatican. They are the Vatican. So like I said, let's go back to the essence part. Why was I even talking about that? So whatever. So let's talk about it was a side note. Sorry. That was a side I just finished eating. Sorry. So you have to catch the essence first. If you want to commit that ritual, a lot of you, if you're like me, if you're an indigo child, if you're a star seed, if you're a chosen one, if you consider yourself one of the 144,000, whatever that is, you already have the essence of the Illuminati connected to you. You already have it. And like I said, I was talking about doorways. I was talking about magic. Okay, that's what I was saying. I made a video that was talking. I say this a lot because the Illuminati, like I said, they open up portals, right? They open up magic. They do a lot of magic on people, and it's crazy irrational magic, because it's like sometimes in magic, less is more, So the thing that these insane psychopaths don't understand is that the more they attack you, the bigger the door is open. So the more you attack me, the easier it is for me to attack you back, because you're the one opening the door. You keep sending stuff all the time, so that door is open. So and the worst part is you're attacking somebody that's divinely protected. So it's not that your attacks are not working. The attacks are working, or else you wouldn't do it. The attacks are working is that there's a too high volume of attacks. And because of that, that gives me more power. Because your door on your end, which you have opened with continuous attacks, is wide open. My door is just a little bit open, and I'm trying to close it at the same time. Yes, I'm helping you at the same time because you're psychotic and crazy. So it doesn't matter if I'm helping you or not. You're still going to do the same fucking shit no matter what. So me, I'm trying to close the door. So my door is not that open. I mean, it's open, but it's not that open. But if you're, let's say you're the one throwing attacks at one singular target, if you attack that singular target often and regularly and at an irrational pace, your door on your end is wide open. It's wide open. So you're opening yourself up to attacks. And the thing about magic is, if you practice magic, then you're susceptible to magic. And that's the thing. Like, some people have a natural defense towards magic because they don't practice magic. But if you practice magic, you're also susceptible to magic, right? So, so let's keep going. You are catching the essence. You're catching the essence, you have the essence. And like I said, this is the same thing. So you're opening the door is open, and you're throwing attacks. This is your essence. This is who you are. You're a person that throws attacks. You're part of an institution. I know who you are. I know what you do. I have your essence. I now have your essence. It is now mine. I can do with it as I will. I can do to you what I wish. And there's not a lot you can do to stop me, because you cannot close a door that's that wide open. So I can do whatever the fuck I want to you. You know what I mean? So you catch that essence. And a lot of us, and all of us, all star seeds, all 144,000 star seeds, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, chosen ones, right? We all hold the essence of the Illuminati in our spiritual baggage, right? Because they're attacking us. The door is open. They make themselves known. They show their face. They do acts. They do things. They try to do things. They succeed. They fail. Whatever. Their life is now connected to yours. So now it's not just the Illuminati that can judo flip people. You can judo flip too. And this is a judo flip that I'm explaining to you. So you need to use that essence, but not everybody is a magician. Not everybody is a mystic. Right? So for them people that are mystics, and shit like that, you can use that essence. It's there, but you haven't learned how to properly use it to your advantage, right? And you can use that to your advantage. I have been trying to explain to you how to do that without necessarily saying it, right? Because this type of magic, sacrificial magic, the sacrificial magic is something that you can do on a consistent basis, right? Like, I sacrifice people. I'm a magician. I'm like Constantine. You know what I mean? I'm an asshole. I'm a jerk. I will sacrifice you. Like, like for real. Like, I sacrifice people in my life. Like, I sacrifice things. I sacrifice people and things. And it's on purpose. It's on purpose. So I can't act as if that's not a thing that I do, because I do. I don't do it to everybody. And just because something bad happened between you and me, that doesn't necessarily mean I tried to sacrifice you. Bad shit happen, bad shit happens all the time. But there are some times where I will sacrifice a person in order to, whatever, gain more power or money or whatever the fuck. Who cares? Get a girlfriend, money, whatever. So I will cast off a person into the abyss and let the Leviathan eat them up for breakfast because there's something that I want. This is called sacrificial magic, right? And you can do the same thing to the Illuminati for the low price of $9.99. So let me tell you how to do it. Hey. So you need the essence first. You know, like I said, all chosen ones, you already have the essence and all that. And don't worry, I know I kind of just helped the Illuminati there, whatever. If you consider that help, that's your business. I don't consider that help because I know who they are. They're going to keep attacking you with the same gusto that they always have because they're insane. Those are insane. They're sex crazy. They love sucking dick. And they think that you're going to get in the way of them sucking dick. And they want to fuck children, and you're in the way of them fucking children. They're completely batshit fucking crazy. So none of the shit that I said is gonna matter. But to you, it should matter because you're in a situation where these fucking sex crazy, homicidal, fucking homosexual fiends, you know, got some fucking shit against you, right? So you can use this as a weapon. You know, if you do this correctly, shit. If you do this, you're not the only one that should do this ritual, though. Like, if you're watching this, you're not the only one that should do this ritual. This ritual should be done by multiple people all over the fucking world, right? On a consistent basis. You know, eat them up. Throw these guys to the Leviathan. Let the Leviathan eat them. Like, throw these guys in the abyss. Okay? So collect the essence, but you already have the essence. I already said that 3 times. You already have the essence, okay? So now what you need to do is offer this essence to whomever that you pray to. Could be, I don't know, Jesus. You can offer them to Jesus. You can, you know, like, you know, but I don't think Jesus takes offerings. I don't think he takes. You could try it. Try it and let me know what happened. Like, try it and let me know what happened. I don't know. I don't think Jesus accepts sacrifices. You know. But any type of other god, like I think a Hindu god, like Kali or Shiva, because Shiva is the god of death. Kali is a destroyer. So those two particular entities could very well be a very, very good entities, very good gods and entities, spirits that you could sacrifice this essence to, right? To make it easier, I would say do not ever put an all-seeing eye on your altar, by the way. Don't ever do that. Don't do that. But if you need a symbol, I would create something that symbolizes them and then put it on your altar. And make a ritual and ask the entity, tell the entity that you wish to sacrifice this essence, this particular essence for I don't know what, right? But there has to be something. Okay, you can't just take this. No, there has to be a reason why you're giving this, because they're not going to take this off. It's not an offering. It's not an offering, it's a sacrifice. And if you sacrifice something, it's for more of something else. Either more power, more success, more health, more wealth, more positive things in your life, more success, you know, whatever. Anything. Peace of mind. Sacrifice them for any reason at all. A Xbox 360, a fucking, you know, like a fucking, you know what I mean? Like a Xbox One, a new car. Sacrifice that some bitch. Okay? So make sure you have something that represents them, and make sure it's not a triangle with an eye in the middle. And don't even put a fucking triangle on your altar, or else I'm gonna hunt you down and murder. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, do not put a triangle or a all-seeing eye on your altar. Okay. Make sure it is something that represents them. Infuse this thing with the essence of the Illuminati. Meditate upon this object. Hold it in your hands. Hold this object in your hands. Meditate upon this. Infuse this object, a symbol, with the essence of the Illuminati that you have collected during the years and whatnot. And then put it on your altar and make a ritual, right? Ask for something. And if you've never sacrificed anything before in your life, or you don't really practice magic, but you do have an entity that you speak to him about it. Have a conversation about it with him. Ask him or her if it is okay for you, if they want, not if it's okay. Ask them if they want this essence. Ask them if you can offer them this essence. And ask them what can they give you back for this essence, right? Some of these questions there'll be an answer for. Some of these questions they might not be an answer for. It depends on who you are dealing with. If you're not dealing with a Hindu god or a Norse god or Lucifer, it might be more difficult. You might have a little bit of trouble, because Lucifer does take sacrifices. Lucifer is a god of magic, so sacrifice has always been, will always be part of magic. If you're not using those entities, though, it might be difficult, or it might be easy, because there's a lot of entities that do not agree with the Illuminati. So you never know, but you have to ask, So you do the ritual, however you choose to produce it. But one thing's for sure, you need to collect the essence of the Illuminati, build yourself a symbol, put it somewhere where you can be where spirit or the universe can clearly see it, not where you can see it, where the universe can see it. You don't have to look at, because sometimes some magicians be like, oh, put things where you can always see it and stuff. It doesn't matter where it is. You don't have to see it. The universe sees it. You don't see it, but the universe sees it, right? So it doesn't really matter. Just put it somewhere, where it's visible, right? It doesn't matter if you can see it or not. Just put it somewhere where it's very visible. And sacrifice the Illuminati, man. And don't be afraid to say it's Illuminati. I'm sacrificing the institution of the Illuminati for $50 billion. I don't know, some shit like that. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, I don't fucking know. Do something like that. Me. If you're wondering, well, why aren't you sacrificing? Because, my friend, I am the one giving you this opportunity. So for me, okay, so let's put it this way. Okay, shameless I'm being very candid right now, by the way, if you hadn't noticed. I'm being extremely honest. If you don't like it, whatever, but I'm being extremely honest for no apparent reason. I just feel like being honest because sometimes I make videos and I call myself Apocalyptic Aftermath and I think I'm cool and shit, and I don't want people to just think that I'm a person that has like ideas about himself that are over the top and shit like that. So I'm bearing myself out here on purpose. So because I don't think I'm that cool. I might be cool, but I don't think I'm that cool. Like I'm down to earth. You know. So where was I going at with this? So you put the thing on the altar, blah blah, universe. Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, the more people. So this is the cool thing. Okay. This is the cool part. This is the cool part. So since I'm connected to all of you, and I have all of your essences, right? The more of you that uh, does this ritual, that's gonna make my ritual stronger. And I'm not gonna explain the process or why that is, but I will say that the more people actually sacrifices the Illuminati, the stronger I will become. And that's the only thing I'm gonna say. And I'm not gonna say more than that because Shiva and Lucifer told me a secret the other day, and I'm not gonna divulge it. But this is as much as I can say. So yeah, um, so it's dangerous. It's a dangerous spell. If you're not already being attacked by the Illuminati, it's a very dangerous spell. It's a very dangerous spell, you know. And yes, the Illuminati. No, no, the Illuminati cannot win, and their destiny is not to win. The destiny of the Illuminati, I can see in the future. I can see in the future, and the destiny of the Illuminati is to lose. That's their destiny. It always has been and always will be. Like that's the point. The point of the Illuminati is losing. The point of the Illuminati is to challenge humanity and to make humanity rise above. That's the point. That's the point of the Illuminati. So the Illuminati is supposed to lose. That's their that's everything. You know, like that's their essence. They're supposed to lose. But even if they reduce the amount, like let's say they reduce the amount of attacks and they strategically do attacks instead, you know, that still won't work because you're divinely protected. So it's not going to work. But what I mean to say when I was talking about that earlier is that the amount of attacks is making it worse. Like the amount of attacks that they send to us is making it worse. So, you know, you don't have to trust what I'm saying. You don't have to trust me. You know. But one thing's for sure, uh I have done I have done more damage to the Illuminati than anyone in history. So, you know. So, anyways, so there's like I said, you're divinely protected. And that's not a joke. You're protected by. I don't even like to say divinely protected, but because I know who's protecting you. I know that Odin is protecting you. I know that Loki is protecting you. I know that Freya is protecting you. I know that Aphrodite is protecting you. I know that Hermes is protecting you. I know that some voodoo spirits are. I know that you know, some voodoo spirits are protecting you. I know Lucifer's protecting you. I already know who's protecting you. So I don't even like to say divine because it sounds like I'm referring to God and shit. Because he's the only one not protecting you. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the one guy that's not doing that job. You know what I mean? And everybody else is. You know, so because it's not about God. You're born on a specific day, and that day is the birthday of a specific god. Unless your numerical value is equivalent to God, you're not protected by God. You're protected by a whole bunch of people except God. And I don't know when God was born. I don't know when God was born. I don't know when God was born. I don't know when Lucifer was born. But as above, so below. So, but there is no God, and the Illuminati always existed. So we don't know when they were born. We don't know when they were born. They was probably born a couple of times ago, but it's not like we can trace back the Illuminati to a specific. They're not astrological. The Illuminati is not astrological, so we can't actually depict or have a numerical value to being born under a Illuminati star. They do reference the number 33 a lot, but 33 is not a date. There's not 33 days in the month. There's 30 days in the month. There's not 33 days in the month. So, we can't, there's no value. Like Lucifer has a numerical value. Lucifer has 23, 26, 23, 26, 15, 6, 66, 69, 79, 7, 777, 666. There's a lot of numerical values to Lucifer, to the Luciferian energy. God has, I guess you can say 7, and 3. If you're born on the 3rd, I guess you can, that's Holy Trinity. I guess you can see yourself as being the child of God, if that's the case. If you're born on the 3rd of whatever month. And then there's the month issue. We don't know what month actually represents, God. They say it's Christmas, but Jesus died on the 25th of, he was born on the 25th of December, but some people argue the fact that you cannot be born at that day on the 25th of December. He would have died from cold, from freezing. He would have froze to death. And some people move Jesus's life as being born more during April, which makes more sense during the spring. And it's also the time of harvest, which is April. April is the first time of a harvest of the year. So of sowing, not harvest. You start putting your seeds in April. So there's obviously some numerical value to God, but it's not, most people feel like they're closer related to Jesus than they are to God. No, God doesn't have a numerical value. God, and that's where the contradiction begins, because we're supposed to be made in His image. And yet there's no numerical value. There's no astrological value, no numerical value. We don't know when he was born. We don't even, and that's the reason why some people don't even know if he fucking existed in the first damn place. We don't know when he was born. And he's like the only God in the pantheon, in the plethora of gods, in the peacock fan of gods that doesn't have a cohesive numerical value, because all the other gods can be traced back to a month, a planet, a day, an alignment, a star alignment, a constellation, everything. But you can't do that with God. So nobody is born of God, more or less speaking. Maybe there is. Maybe there is, but nobody's born under the star of God. And some people are born under the star of Christ. My father, who was a carpenter, was also born under the star of Christ. He was born on the 24th of December. This is just one day from the 25th. That's still an energy. That energy still lingers. So that energy still lingers. He has Christ. He has a Christ. There's the energy of Christ, and he's a carpenter. Like, he was born on December 24th. He actually died on the 25th of December. He died on the 25th of December, one day after his birthday, and he was a carpenter. No, he was born on the 26th. Yeah, my dad was born on the 26th of December, one day later. And he's a carpenter. He knows he's a carpenter. So you can see that energy. You can see that energy. He's like Joseph, and then he made me, and then he made me, Jesus, who was actually Lucifer. Right? So we had that same energy. Right? And the energy remained, and we enacted those energies too in our lives. So and my father was a very important person in my life. Like, he's the one that laid out the blueprint for some of the way that I think, and he's not aware of this though. he's not aware of this. Like, like, he's not aware of this. Like, like, my dad thought I was crazy. My dad thought I was crazy because I didn't like things that other kids like. Like, I like comic. I'm a black kid that lived in a black neighborhood. Well, not predominantly black, but black neighborhood with black friends. And I'm sitting there reading comic books and playing video games and being on a computer. That's not what black kids did back in my days. You know what I mean? They'd go out, play basketball, blah, blah, blah. I didn't do none of that shit. You know what I mean? I was barely interested in that stuff. Like, I read comic books. I used to draw comic books for a living for a minute. I used to hustle comic books when I was a kid. I used to hustle comic books, bro. Like, I would make comic books, then I'd go to the library, and then I'd photocopy it, and then I'd take, like, my teacher's fucking, a stapler, to staple that shit, and if somebody, I'd sell that shit for $2. If somebody wanted $2, and $2 was enough, because there was a Pizza Hut program in my school, and so, like, there was $2.30. For $2.30, you can get a pizza, a small little pizza. It was fucking good, dude. It was awesome, man. So you know what I mean? So but it was every Friday though. So I had 1 week to sell comic books before Friday, so I can buy myself a pizza. And it fucking worked. And I kept doing it too. Like, even when I ended up in high school, I kept doing it. I kept drawing comic books. I even had a friend that joined in. So we used to draw comic books together. It was dope. That's the kind of shit that I was into. My dad thought I was fucking nuts, bro. He thought I was crazy. I didn't have a girlfriend and shit, and but that's what he taught. Like, he didn't know, because yes, I did do the stuff that black kids do. I just didn't show them. I had a little bit of resentment. Because my dad thought I was crazy, and I was like, man, I'm your kid, you know what I mean? How can you, what I mean? What is you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, so, I had a little bit of resentment. I didn't tell him when I did black shit. I wouldn't tell him, when I was acting like super black, like when I acted ghetto black, I wouldn't tell him. I wouldn't tell him. I keep it for myself. So I had a little bit of resentment. Like, but he laid out the blueprint for most of how I think, like he laid it like the comic books. It's thanks to him that I got comic books. Like he's the one that was used to bring me to buy comic books, fucking TV, science fiction TV shows. I didn't know shit about TV when I was a kid. I used to watch cartoons. I didn't know shit about no adult TV shows. Then I ended up like vampire shit. Like he watched like vampire shows, dope vampire, not just like running the mill. I don't know if you guys. This is old. This is for anybody that's 40 plus. I don't know if you guys remember that show on TV, Forever Night. It was a vampire show, and he was like it was a white Blade. He was a Blade, but he was white. Like basically, it was a vampire that was a cop, and he had this ring. He had this ring on, and the ring kept him alive during the day, so he could walk outside during the day, right? And he was a cop, so he would go out and fight other vampires. Yo, the show was dope, man. That show was awesome, bro. And then Tech Wars. Tech Wars, I don't know, that was my dad. My dad used to watch that shit. I was like, what the fuck? And like he would surprise me because I was like, yo, this is fucking dope. I'm watching this shit like every day now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this shit is awesome. I'm watching this shit forever, dude. Like, Forever Night, Tech Wars, Stargate. My dad used to watch Stargate. I started watching Stargate because of my dad. I didn't even know what the fuck Stargate was, bro. Like, I'm still, and then the worst part is I would see him watch it. I didn't know what it was. And I would see him watching, like, why is he always watching that show and shit? And then one day I sat down. I decided, like, fuck it. I want to know what this shit is. I sat down with him. It's like, what is this? It's like Stargate. Like, okay. So let's watch this shit. So I'm watching this shit. I'm like, yo, this is awesome. Man, what the fuck? I watched every fucking episode of Stargate at least 3 times. Facts. I binge watched Stargate, bro. Like, up until Atlantis. Atlantis was trash. But I fucking watched it anyway. I didn't give a fuck. So he kind of laid out the blueprint for how I think. I think outside the box. Even though he didn't necessarily do it on purpose, I kind of think outside the box. In my head, I was already being filled up with science fiction, technology, tech, cyberpunk, because Tech Wars was fucking cyberpunk, technology, cyberpunk, fucking science fiction, and then history, because he would make me read books and shit. I was forced to read books, so I would read books. So like, I became smart, not on purpose. It was inverted. I don't think that was the goal. I don't think being smart was the goal. It just ended up like that because of all the extracurricular activities that I had. And I was already a little bit white when I was a kid. I was 51% white. I like comic books and shit. I didn't really, I like comic books, you know what I mean? So I was 51% white already. And I'm glad for it. I'm fucking happy for it. I don't know if he did it on purpose. I don't think he did. I don't think he did it on purpose, but maybe he did. I don't know, because he did. So I can't ask. And I never asked. So we'll never know. But he was a carpenter, and he was born on the 26th of December. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And not only that, but his lineage is from the Knight Templar. He's actually a descendant of the Knight Templar. I can't tell you my name because then, everybody would know it. But, if you knew what my name was, if I could tell you what my name was, you could trace that family name to Knights Templar. So I was like 51% black, like 51% white right off the bat. Like, you know what I mean? Like from day one. I had no chance. I had no chance, bro. I was gonna turn white one day or another. Like, I was going through it right, but like, so but I did play basketball. I love soccer. My dad loves soccer. I love soccer too. Everything my dad liked, I liked it. You know what I mean? I just didn't tell him that I like those things. Like, I mean, he knew I liked soccer, but that's pretty much it. But everything he liked, I liked it too. You know what I mean? So, but I like playing. I like sports, basketball and shit like that, and and I used to play for my team. I used to play for my high school team. So he would bring me to practice and so on and so on. And yeah, man, I was a pretty I was white, but I was a white nerd in the body of a black man, but I still did black stuff. I still a lot, because I like basketball. Like, I like playing defense. I like football. That shit's awesome. I think football is the greatest sport known to man. Fucking, soccer. I love soccer. That shit's dope. I was a very physical dude. So very, very into physical education. Uh, but anyways, man, I'm getting off track here, dude. I'm reminiscing a little bit. But I already told you how to sacrifice the Illuminati to an abyss. And I hope you do it. And I hope you do it, bruh. Like, I hope you do it, man. Like, and don't take every fucking word I take as a reason to attack me, by the way. If I say something, I know what I say. And I know what I mean, and I know what I say, and you should learn to trust those things. Because there's no greater bane to the Illuminati than I am. Like, I'm the Illuminati's greatest foe. Alright? So don't underestimate. Like, I don't believe in justice. I believe in revenge. I don't want justice. Justice is ass. Justice is overrated. I want the Illuminati's kids to die from dehydration. Okay, no pun intended, no offense meant. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like, if it was for me, the Illuminati's children would die from dehydration. You know what I mean? Because they always showing their kids, they always doing shit. And then my kid, fuck you and your fucking kid, man. Like, like, for real, bro. Like, kiss my ass, man. Like, get the fuck out of here. If you cared about your kid, you wouldn't be Illuminati, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You're selfish. You're a selfish, crazy, homosexual sex, crazy person, okay? Fuck out of here, man. Like, leave me alone with your fucking kids. You don't fucking care about your kid. You don't fucking care about your fucking kids. Stop acting. You're just using your kid as a shield. You're using kids as shields. Okay? You don't give one fucks about your child. One fucks. If you had an opportunity, the first opportunity you'd get, you'd fucking kill your fucking son. And there's a bunch of these people sitting up there, and that's what they're doing. They sacrificing their children. Shit, I'm a motherfucking sacrifice my motherfucking self. So get the heck out of here with that nonsense, man. I don't care about your fucking kids, man. Like, I believe in revenge, not justice. So, and it is what it is, And if they give you a reprieve from attacks because of what I said, that's a good thing. Because they shouldn't be attacking you. This volume of attacks is unnecessary and ridiculous and stupid. It's completely unnecessary. One spell is fine. One curse is fine. You don't have to send 300 fucking spirits. Get the fuck out of here, man. like what pardon my language, bro. Like, pardon my language, but that's insane, man. Like, the fucking monitoring spirits, monitoring spirits, what's it called, the other one again, fucking restless spirits, restless spirits, monitoring spirits, fucking some gods You know, some guys be like Azazel. Azazel, a lot of people think Azazel is a good guy. He's not a fucking good guy. He's a traitor. He's a fucking traitor. He's trying to replace me, bro. He's trying to replace me. I remember last year, Azazel was going around telling people that he was going to make them king. You don't have the power to do that. You ain't God. Only Lucifer has the power to do that. You don't have the power to do that, mister. Okay? You know what I mean? He was going around saying, telling people, "Oh, make you did shut the fuck up," and he did that shit on purpose because he knew that Lucifer was gonna give me the crown. He was just trying to deter people from the stuff because that's what he does apparently, which I did not know personally. I thought I had more of a kinship with Azazel, the god of war, than I did other demons. The kinship I had was with Asmodeus and Azazel. When I was a kid, I remember it because he's the comic books, and everything, and so I was like, Azazel. If I ever went into the dark side, in my head, I was kind of like, I'm gonna fuck with Azazel and I'm gonna fuck with Asmodeus. You know what I mean? Because Asmodeus has always been part of my life too. By the way, a lot more than Lucifer. A lot more than Lucifer, like Azazel, Asmodeus, and Lilith. Those are the ones that I had, for some reason, I had a penchant for. You know what I mean? So, when I say Azazel is a traitor, I don't mean that, I'm not saying it as it doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me happy. I thought I was going to work with that dude. I wanted to work with that dude. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, so like I said, man, these unrelenting attacks, it should not be. It should not be. There's too many attacks. I mean, they send people physically. They do all kinds of shit. It's ridiculous. It's irrational. It's irrational, man. It's just because they're penis crazy, man. They just penis crazy, bro. They penis crazy. That's all it is. So, yeah, you should be dealing with one spirit and one spirit alone. You shouldn't be dealing with like 300 of them. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy, That's nonsense. You should be dealing with one spirit. And it would be more effective if they used only one spirit instead of 300. Less is more. Less is more. I don't use 300 spirit. I found one spirit. I focus on one entity, and I use that entity, and I use that entity to its fullest power and its fullest extent. If it don't work with that dude, I'm gonna find another one. I'm not gonna send 300. I don't even know how to do that, and I don't know how to do that, and I don't think any magician knows how to do that because it's stupid. It's ridiculous. Because. Imagine you're one magician. There are a lot of them. So that's the difference. That's how they're capable of sending 300 fucking, Spartans at you, right? I'm not a Spartan. I'm not Leonidas. I'm Xerxes. You know what I mean? I'm Xerxes. So I got ninjas. I got immortal ninjas. I don't have Spartans, right? So, these guys are sending 300s, the 300s after you all the fucking time. But there's a lot of them. So that's why they can't do that. That's why they can't do it. But, imagine if you was only one magician and you had to do a ritual for each entity that you're throwing at a person. Do you know how much work that would be? That's insane. You'd be doing rituals all day long, like without stopping. Like you would go to sleep the next day, continue on, and you know what I mean. So that would be it's ineffective. It's ineffective, bro. Like if you need 300, and that's the essence, and that's another sliver of the Illuminati that you need to know about. The Illuminati, they're cowards. They're penis crazy cowards. So they will always use numbers over power. because for them there's power in number because they don't have the power, so they need numbers. And you need to know that, because, and you do already know that, it's just sometimes you be forgetting, which is easy to do with all those consistent attacks that's coming from everywhere. You know what I mean? But you need to know that the Illuminati's essence is the essence of a coward. You know, they need numbers because they don't have any power. You're the one with power, so you don't need numbers, right? All you need is one entity. They need 300. All you need is one. And you need to understand that. And like I said before, don't be worrying. Don't be worrying. Because the entity that you're using, even if they find a way to focus and stop being penis crazy and shit, the entity that they're gonna use still isn't strong enough to defeat the entity that's protecting you or that you're using, because you're using an actual god. You're using Lucifer, you're using Shiva, you're using Vishnu, you're using Kali, you're using Odin, you're using Loki. Loki can rip and tear all these sons of bitches apart if he felt like it. Loki's not joking. Loki's extremely powerful, man. Like, I always had Lokian energy about me, bro. And that shit is latched onto me like a curse. I'm not the only one. There's a lot of biker gangs. Biker gangs have Loki energy. Some witches, male and female witches, got Loki energy. That shit's powerful, man. Like, that shit, it's extremely powerful, man. Like, Loki energy is not a joke, man. That shit is not playing. And I don't know why we have that energy. I don't know, because I don't think Loki chooses who has his energy. I think people just end up with his energy. Well, I don't know why I have Loki energy. I always was attracted to Loki. You know, I was always attracted to Loki. So I ended up having his energy, you know, and I carry his energy with me all times. But that's a very powerful energy. Like, you can do, like, the Loki energy is like, it's cerebral, it's logical, right? It's psychological. It's not logical, it's psychological, right? And what I mean by that, that's the perfect word to use, because, you know, Loki energy is the ability to get into a situation and flip the whole situation on its head. Like, you know, like, you get into a fucking verbal battle with someone, or somebody disrespects you, and then you use your Loki energy, and then all of a sudden the person ends up liking you, or you end up with something. You know, you end up, because that's one thing about Loki, is every time Loki causes mischief, this is what you're doing when you have Loki energy. Let's be real. You're being a little bit mischievous. You know, you're being mischievous, but you or the person that you're dealing with, or a person outside of the situation that this situation is about, ends up having a boon. Right? It's Loki energy. So, you know, like, it's a very potent energy. There's not a lot of spirit that gives you that ability to just, like, flip things on its head like that, you know. So, you know, it's very psychological. He's a very psychological being, and he is. And that's another Lucifer character. That's the worst part. Like, you know, like the snake in the garden, and then Lucifer. Some people think it's two different entities. The same thing, because, you know, Odin is Lucifer, but I can also say the same about Loki. I could say that Loki is Lucifer. Like, Loki, the same shit happened. Whatever happened to Loki happened to Lucifer. You know, because he kind of got rejected by Odin. You know, more or less. He got punished. He got punished by Odin. He got sent to the infernal realms to be, you know, with having another allegory of the eyes, which actually means something. if you read between the lines, there's poison in his eyes now. Right? So that means if you carry Lokian energy, you might have the ability to see evil. You might have the ability to see something, to see bad things. And it can cause some form of madness. It can come. It can form us. It can build a form of madness. If you're not careful, it can make you like hallucinate. But you're not really hallucinating. What you're seeing is happening. It's just like you're capable of seeing things for what they are, or you're capable of seeing the evil in things. Instead of seeing the good in things, you see the evil in things. And that's facts. And that's crazy. Because you could look at something that's good and still see how it could be bad, and that's what that means. You have poison in your eyes, that's his punishment. His punishment is to eternally have, poison in his eyes. So that is dripping from the mouth of a snake. So you could basically say like this could also like be doubled, superimposed on I'm being attacked by the Illuminati. The Illuminati could be the snake, and the poison could be all of these spiritual attacks that they're sending you, right? And you're just stuck there. And then, Odin, the allegory of Odin doing that to Loki could be God. God is the one that did that to you. For whichever reason it could be. So I believe that that's the case. I think God put the Illuminati in my life to put poison in my eyes. Which they're effectively doing, have been effectively doing for multiple years. Because it is just poison at the end of the day. It is just poison at the end of the day. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited that you guys, once you guys start sacrificing your eye, I'm very excited. I'm very excited about that happening, because when that happens, and mind you, I say that I'm going to grow in power once that happens, but it's not when I'm going to be alive. That's like in the astral realm. Like that's like in the, that's like in the cosmos. Like that's like that's in metaphysic things, that's in metaphysics, so, but it's still interesting, I am still promised a boon for this act, for this deed, if I succeed. So if I can make like 100,000 people sacrifice their Illuminati eye, holy fucking shit, am I gonna have a nice little gift. So, is that the only reason why I'm doing that? No, of course not. And I just thought of it last week. Like I didn't even, I just thought of it too. Like some people, like, I don't know why I didn't think of that. I didn't think of it either. I just thought of it like last week, bro. Like, like, I'm like, why didn't I? And I did ask myself, why didn't I fucking think of that? Like, why didn't I, things happen when things are supposed to happen. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, this is going to be, we're going to have a very interesting future. That is for fucking sure. And not a lot of people are ready to live without the Illuminati, because they've been living with the Illuminati for so long that it's kind of weird if they're not there anymore. So a lot of people are a little bit hesitant and a little bit afraid of, free falling without a net, because at the end of the day, some people consider the Illuminati like a safety net, you know. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be another institution that you'll be able to rely on. I'm trying to be an institution myself. You know, like I'm trying to rally. I know a lot of people don't want to join me in what I do, but you know, I'm no matter, that doesn't matter to me. I'm still gonna try to have a group of people that I can do things with, because I have a lot of things to show and I have a lot of knowledge. So you know, and I'm prophesized. You know, I'm a prophesized being. You know, I'm a prophesized. You know, I mean, shit. You know, some people consider things a prophecy. I consider it magic. Yeah, now I mean, like some like that's the reason why I call myself apocalyptic aftermath. I don't treat the apocalypse as if it was a prophecy. I treat the apocalypse as if it was a spell that I can do. You know, I don't see it like that. You know, but if I wanted to, I could have been like, you know, I'm the prophesized child, whatnot, and so on and so on and so on. But regardless, I would have to been with Lucifer, because when I did try to become, because God stole a lot of my glory. You know, God stole a lot of my glory, and he gave it to, I even seen him give some of my glory to other people. You know, so God, the Hebrew God, is not a entity that I want to deal with. And if I was to say that I'm prophesized, I would say that I'm the Antichrist. I would not consider myself anything close to God. You know, he stole a lot of my glory. I don't do things for glory, but I do help a lot of people, and I do save a lot of lives. And you know, I would have thought by now that my name would have been cleared, or you know, or I'd be able to clean toilets for a living. You know what I mean? And that's not the case. You know, like that's not that's not the case. I had to do it myself. Like everything that you're seeing me do is me that one day decided to do it. You know, nobody told me to do it. There's no angels with wings that came down from the sky in bright light that told to put their hands on me and blah 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 blah. None of that shit happened. I decided to be who I am today. I decided it. It wasn't you can say it's prophesized, but I think anybody could have been me. But I guess I'm me instead of someone else being me. But I did a lot of miracles. You know, you can call it magic. I can call it magic, but you guys could call it miracles. I did a lot of miracles. As you know, we did shit with Donald Trump. We did shit with other in other countries. We did shit with other people. We did a lot of shit here, man. If you guys been paying attention since the start, we did a lot of shit. And it's not just the negative battles that I'm talking about. There's even, you know, people that we helped. We did a lot of good things. I mean, like, you know, like I know that the abilities that I have, everybody has that potential and everybody has that capability. I know it. I know it. I know that. You know, but it's still amazing because I can do it on purpose, which is the major difference between me and other people. I do it when I feel like it. You know, like, and the sad part, okay, I had a friend, I had a friend, and I told this friend, yo, and this friend was like, okay, I'm ready, man. Let's do some shit. And I'm like, okay, let's do some shit, man. And I told this friend, I'm gonna show you something, right? We're gonna focus all of our energy into one singular focal point, right? It was a video game. I said, we're gonna focus all our energy on that. And we did. And I said, we're gonna make this game blow up. We're gonna make this game super popular. And we're playing a 5-year-old game, right? We're playing a 5-year-old game, man. And we focused our energy on it, you know. And a week later, there was a coffee shop that opened up in California, and it was the team of the coffee shop was the team of the video game. You know, or it's kind of like, you know, that's why I'm kind of sad that my ex uh doesn't want to acknowledge my existence. No pun intended, no offense meant, but that's kind of what it is. You know, I'm kind of sad that she doesn't want to acknowledge my existence because there was one particular era. Like I did say, you guys remember last year, I kept saying, oh, I'm going to do this Flash Energy video, Flash Energy. I was all about Flash. And for a moment, we was talking a lot about Flash, you know, and she was like, yeah, I love Flash too. And you know, I understand his energy too and all that. And I'm like, yeah, he's very important, you know. And it's true. I believe her when she says that because Flash is important to white people, man. White people love Flash, bro. And he's amazing. Flash is insane. He's a beautiful man, right? And you know, and but the thing is, and so we went out one day. We went out, and there was this big ass truck. Just the container. There was the front end wasn't there. It was just this truck that was there, and on the side of the truck, and she's the only one that can confirm it because that shit was confirmation. You know, I'm talking about confirmation here, right? But I do it on purpose. The other story, I did it on purpose. That one was more or less on purpose, but it was fucking dope. So we're walking. I think I wanted to buy a pack of cigarettes. So we're going to the store. We're going to the corner store. We're going to the corner store. We're walking. And there's this truck there. And the only person that can confirm this is her because it was at night. So nobody else saw it except us. So we're walking at night. And there's this truck there. And it says Hermes in graffiti. It says Hermes in graffiti on it, bruh. I was like, dude, what? You know, like in big bold letters on the side of a container, like on the side of a container, it's like Hermes. Like, oh shit! I was like, dude, I was tripping. I was losing my fucking mind, dude. Yeah, you know, that was like, yo, you see that, man? It's fucking Hermes. I was super excited. I was super stoked. You know, a little bit too much, even. You know. But yeah, like I said, but there's other, like I do this shit, I do it on purpose, like I know how to do it, and that's the difference. That's why I want to show the people. I don't want to tell people, oh yeah, you're great, you're fine, you're beautiful, and blah, blah. No, I want to show you how to use your abilities. And some people don't want that, and I understand that, and a lot of people believe in working by themselves and doing things by themselves, and that's okay. If you're that kind of person, then that kind of person. But me, I believe that my destiny is a lot greater than just sitting in my house playing video games and, you know, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I think, you know, like, so, you know, I don't think like that. You know, I'm ready. You know what I mean? You know, I'm fucking ready. Like, you know, so, you know, I am going through like a small depression. You know, I'm a little bit depressive. Constant attacks, losing somebody I love. You know, constant attacks. You know, being attacked by people that I used to love, you know, that's fucking crazy too. That hurts, you know, like, so, you know, I'm a little bit depressed, you know, like, I'm out of it. It was worse. It was way worse a couple months ago. Like, it was way worse a couple months ago. I was super depressed, even up until, like, last month. Because if you remember, my hair was fucked up. I was making videos. I was making YouTube videos. My hair was jacked up, bro. Like, you know, which is funny. I started getting out of depression, and then I ended up in the hospital immediately after. So that's another, you know, that's a Illuminati hit. They did that on purpose. You know, that's psychological warfare. You know, or you getting up, here's something to remind you that life sucks, you know, because the more bad memories, because you can kill yourself, you know, you can kill your own soul without doing it on purpose. Like, you can kill your own soul, bruh. Like, you can kill yourself. Like, if the only thing you remember is bad shit, that kills you, that kills your soul. It kills your soul. So the Illuminati loves creating situations like that so that you go down a vicious circle, so you get into the sunken place, like Get Out. You know, it's kind of like hypnosis. It's kind of like a weird version of hypnosis with actual real people. It's kind of weird, you know what I mean? But I do that shit too. Like, I have power to control people too. But we're not ready for that sort of ability though, because it's a little bit too much, you know? Like, it's a bit much. And we're not ready for that. I'm ready for it. I'm already doing it. But even me, it's like on a small frequency. I would rather it to happen every day, but it takes a lot of energy to do that stuff. But you know, but controlling people, creating people, I can create people, I can create people, I can control people, I can, you know, I can do a lot of shit. You know, I can Kang the Conqueror your ass, I can, you know, all kinds of shit, you know. Um Thanos snaps, you know. I'm the high evolutionary, you know. And that's the thing too. I'm like, you know, I love high evolutionary. I think high evolutionary should be everybody's role model. You know, because we are high evolutionaries. We have technology. We have technology inside of our soul that we use to transmute and transfigure people's DNA. Because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. You know, so the more knowledge I give you, the more powerful you become. You know, and power corrupts absolutely. Absolute power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when you have power, you change. You know, your DNA changes. Your DNA changes. Your corporal form might remain the same, but there's changes happening. You know, so it's rewriting your DNA, and DNA is history at the end of the day. So we're reinventing the wheel here, man. We're changing how people are perceiving things. We're changing how people are understanding things. We're giving people access. We're giving people eyes, just like Jesus. He had the ability to give sight to the blind. You have that ability too. When you make a YouTube channel and you're talking about your experiences, you're giving out your perspective and shit like that. You are in a good and positive fashion, right? You are a giving eyes to the blind. That's what you're doing. You're not just, you know, giving how do you say, knowledge to swine. You know, no, you're giving eyesight to the blind. Maybe there's some swine, you know, somewhere around in the crowd, but mostly you need to see things on the positive mindset too. You need to be aware that, yeah, there might be some swine, but you're also giving eyesight to people that didn't have that eyesight in the first place, you know. So we are high evolutionaries. We are high evolutionaries. We can manipulate DNA. Because at the end of the day, it's not about Jesus. It's not about God. It's about you. You decide to do those things. If you go to sleep tomorrow, the world will remain the same. The Jesus ain't gonna come and save you. Jesus is already here. Okay, no pun intended to Jesus. I'm gonna stop saying Jesus because Jesus didn't do shit wrong to nobody. But you know, you know what I mean? Like, you know, but if you decide not to give sight to the blind, tomorrow the world will remain the same. You know what I mean? We're gonna go we're gonna get killed by a bunch of penis crazy whatever psychopaths, man. Like, you know, like, so nothing's gonna change. So when you decide, and this is why you're an important person, and this is why you're a celebrity in the astral realm, and that's why as above so below, and that's why you should not underestimate yourself. Because, you know, when you wake up tomorrow, when you wake up and you're gonna tell yourself, man, I'm gonna make this video, I'm gonna say this in this video, I'm gonna do that tomorrow, I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna go these things, all of these things that you decide to do are fucking important at the end of the fucking day. Pardon my language. At the end of the day, everything you do is important because you decided to do it. Nobody forced you to do it. Nobody is going to force you to do it. So when you do something out of your free will, out of the goodness of your heart, yo, that shit is powerful, man. That's powerful, bro. Like, there's more power in that than you actually are aware of. Because all that shit, that Bible stuff, that shit don't exist, man. All of it's a lie. But you believed in the lie. But the thing is, you got power before the Bible came out. So now you believe in a good lie that makes you act good, but you think that the power that comes out of the good that you're doing is God. No, it's you. It was your decision. You got up and opened up a Bible. You decided to go public speaking. You decided to go do motivational speak. You decided to become a magician. It was all you. You're not called to this. You decide to do it. Because even people that are called to doing things, sometimes they give up. Sometimes they give up. So if that shit, if what you're saying was true, no pun intended, no offense meant, but let's say what you're saying is true, the Bible is real, yada, yada, yada. So you mean, so if somebody was called to do something, so all them pastors, them mega churches and shit, and they talking all that garbage, and they have power to heal people and bullshit, right? So if it was up for them, everybody be dead. Because they betrayed the word of God. They be lying and shit. They be stealing money. And they're using God's name to do it. And they have powers. So that would mean, so if this nigga gave up on God, what chance do we have? That's not how life works. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. Everybody does their part, man. Everybody does their part, bro. Everybody does their part, man. And you know, and that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Imagine all these 144,000s that have a high. I know what your destiny is. You know what some of you guys know what your destiny is. I know what your destiny is, but a lot of you guys are tired. So imagine if the world was counting on you. No pun intended, no offense meant. I know that sounds kind of harsh. I don't know. I'm sorry. My bad. It sounds kind of harsh, but you know, like, think about it, right? You tired, you're getting assaulted right, left, and center and shit, and you don't feel like doing nothing. That's not your fault, but think about it. Like, if, okay, so the entire universe is attached to you and your destiny, but you're too tired to get to that point, then we're fucked. We would be dead. All of us. We would all be dead, bro. It would be that fucking simple. We would all be fucking dead. End of story. Point blank range. Bow. You know what I mean? So it's not about that. Yeah, you might have a good destiny, but you gotta give people an opportunity. Like, I might not be who I say I am, right? I might not be Neo, bro. I might not be Neo. I think I'm Neo. I think in my head I think I'm Neo. Actually, I think I'm the Merovingian, but that's another story for another day. But I think, in my head I think I'm Neo, right? But I might not make it. But imagine if I think I'm Neo, but everything is solely reliant on me, but I don't make it. So everything's over. We're all fucking dead. We're all gonna die. Nah, bro, shit don't work like that. Everybody has the potential to be the one. Everybody is a part of the puzzle. Everything has to exist. Everything exists for a reason. Everything is magic. Magic is everything. As above, so below. Do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. Free will. So without free will, we would be dead, man. And I'm not trying to diss you. I'm not trying to diss you or anything. I'm just saying, bro, like, you're tired, people are attacking you, you're trying, you're doing things, but you're trying and people get in your way. So imagine if it was that easy, bro. So you're trying and people are in your way. And you're the sole responsible for everybody on the planet. We'd be dead. Quite simple, man. Like, we would just be fucking dead, bro. Like, we'd be dead. So there has to be contingency plans. There has to be backups. There has to be a way. There has to be a path. There has to be like a learning. There has to be because at the end of the day, Jesus was teaching. He didn't. Jesus is not. He didn't come here and be like, I'm fucking Neo and I'm gonna kill all these agents single-handedly because I know kung fu. That's not what Jesus said. You know what I mean? That's not what Jesus said, bro. Jesus was trying to teach people, bro. He was giving people knowledge. That's what he was doing. He wasn't like, I'm gonna single-handedly rip apart no. That means he learned what he learned too. Like, he learned what he had to learn, and now he's trying to teach it to other people so that they can then teach it to other people, and so on and so on. So that we don't have to live with a bunch of fucking penis crazy, the homosexual, fucking homicidal, thingamajigs. Goggly goop, man. Goggly goop. So we don't have to live in goggly goop, bro. Jesus came here not for our sins. Jesus came here not to forgive us our sins. That's not why Jesus came here. Jesus came here to teach us what we needed to know to become gods so that we don't have to live in goggly goop. He didn't die for our fucking sins. And if God really wanted Jesus to tell us what we needed to know so that we don't live in goggly goop, well, he wouldn't have fucking sacrificed them. I'm not perfect, but I like learning. And I'm pretty sure there's some people that are better than me out there, personality wise. There's not a lot of people that's better than me, but personality wise, they might have a better attitude. They might be a little bit more positive and shit. And I'm be telling that shit because I know how negative I can be, but I like to learn though. So you can't tell me this motherfucker, so you're just gonna throw me in the bunch of bad apples. I'm a good apple. Well, I don't give a fuck. All these other apples are bad, so you're gonna go in the bad bunch too. Well, fuck you then, nigga. Facts. That's facts. You gotta realize who you are, bro. You can't just hide all the time. You hiding. You hiding, bro. You hiding. You hiding from yourself. You're hiding from yourself. Oh, well, God, I don't want to, fuck him. If he wants to throw us in the fucking bad apple bunch, fuck him. I'm gonna stop before I get struck by lightning or something. So, anyways, man, if you like what you're hearing, that as if, if you like what you're hearing, subscribe to my channel, leave a like, leave a comment, bro, and all that good stuff, man. And, if you're scared that the Illuminati is gonna send singular attacks at you, then, boy, I don't know what to tell you, man. You need some help. You might want to do things by yourself all the time, but if that's enough to throw you off, you need some help. Because that means you don't trust yourself. You don't trust the people that protects you. You don't trust nothing. You need some help. And you don't trust me, which is way worse than all of the other things I just said. Facts. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people not trusting me. I mean, it sucks. It's garbage. But, I guess. It comes with the territory. I'm a devil. And I'm not going to change for anything. I love being the devil. And shit. Even if Lucifer told me to stop, I wouldn't stop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love who I am. I'm perfectly comfortable with who I am. I wish I could be even more of who I am, and maybe in the future I will be able to do so. I don't know. But, this is who I am. This is what I like. And I understand I'm a bit, standoffish. Or you might feel standoffish towards me because you don't know if I'm Illuminati. You don't know if I'm, this or that, or just trying to, throw you off and blah, 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 blah. But give it time. Give it time, bro. I'm pretty sure you'll see that, in due time, I think you'll see that I'm a trustworthy person. And you don't have anything to worry about when it comes to me. I don't get paid. A lot of people judge me on my love of money, my love of energy. A lot of people feel like my love of energy gets in the way of them wanting to know me or wanting to do things with me, But, I don't do things for money. I don't get paid one fucking dollar. I never got paid on YouTube. On YouTube, I never got paid. I did have a website, that was paid, but I didn't get a lot of money out of it. And the content that was on the website was dope. So I don't feel bad about charging for it. And, it was valuable and it was important. And the website will be back up. At some point, I don't know when, but it will be back up. I'm like I said, I'm getting out of this depression. I recently got out of the depression, and then I recently got out of the depression, and then they threw me in the fucking hospital and shit. So I'm in the same situation you are, man. They're throwing 300 fucking spirits at me. I'm like, bro, like, if you just threw one spirit at me, it would do the same fucking thing as sending 300 of them, you jackass. Fucking idiot. So, anyways, man, it's overkill. I think it's overkill. I do want them to reduce the amount of attacks. It's overkill, bro. It's like ridiculous. Like even me, that's this powerful. If I do something to you, it's not gonna be this bad. It won't. Like it's just it won't, bro. Like it's not gonna be this bad, bro. I do make people vomit their fucking. I do make people puke their fucking guts out. But you know, I be giving people cancer and shit. Yo, I be giving people cancer and they be puking the guts out. But that's one thing. That's one time and it's over. It's not like consistent. I'm not always on your ass. Like nobody can say like, oh man, this son of a bitch is always on my ass all the fucking time. Nah, that's not true. That's a lie. Cause I got shit to do. I got I got books to read. I got classes to take. I got classes to take. I need to study. I need to do research. I'm a magician. I'm a fucking I ain't got time for that shit, nigga. I don't have time for that shit. Pardon my language, pardon my French. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that, dude. Like, so you know, so nah, bro. Like you a bitch. Know what I mean? Like you a bitch. You're a bitch, bro. Like you're a straight up bitch, nigga. Like you a bitch, bro. Like you sit there and you attack people all day long. You're a bitch, bro. You don't do shit. You don't do shit, nothing. You a bitch. You're a lazy ass bitch, nigga. That's what I think about the Illuminati, bro. They're lazy ass bitches, bro. Like for real. Cause you're not doing like if you got time to do all that, that means you're not working. You're not making money. You're not doing nothing. You're doing nothing. Jack shit. Nothing. Because you got too much time on your hands, bro. I can tell by the amount of attacks. Even if you didn't attack me in the street, I would still be able to tell how much time you're spending throwing curses at me and throwing negative energy and shit like that, bro. You do that shit all day, nigga. You don't do nothing. You don't shower. You don't eat. You don't, you just do that all day. You're a bitch, nigga. So fuck the Illuminati, bro, and don't worry about them. And I'm telling you, man, like maybe not everybody is going to sacrifice their eye, because for some people the eye is important. So they might not sacrifice the eye. You know? But for those that do, that's going to be a very powerful moment for you, man. Once you sacrifice that eye, man, it's going to be a very powerful moment for you, bro. You're going to step into apotheosis, man. Shit, you might even become even stronger than I am. God damn it. I mean, the Illuminati got value. As much as I hate these sons of bitches and I think they're useless, coward, lazy ass cowards, a lot of people have a lot of value. They put a lot of value on the Illuminati, man. There's some people that think that Illuminati is synonymous to success. You know, so you know what I mean. So the Illuminati has a lot of value, bro. Even in the spiritual world, man. Even in the spiritual world, the Illuminati got a lot of value, bro. Like, I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. I don't see what the fuck is, what the fuck, what, I can't even say it. Like, it's like, I can't even, like, my brain can't register that shit, bro. Like, that's, you know, I don't know what the fuck is valuable in that garbage. I don't see anything of value in that garbage. There's nothing of value. Egyptian magic is too complicated. Egyptian's magic is too complicated. Voodoo's gonna send you to the hospital if you don't do it other people. Baphomet is not a real demon. I'm not a pedophile. I'm not a rapist. I'm not a none of that shit. I'm not homosexual. I don't know. I don't see the value in it. But hey, man, if it has value for you, it has value for you. I don't know. But me, it doesn't have any value for me, man. But I'm not stupid and I'm not blind. And I can obviously see that a lot of people put a lot of value in this garbage. So, if it has that much fucking value and you're that greedy or you want to save your life, sacrifice that some bitch. I mean, they were going to do it to you anyways. So why not do it to them? And with that said, I'm out.